PARCA Technical Section 1.3 covers disk parameters, RAID, HSM, disk platters, hard drives, CD-ROM, DVD, zip disks, DVD-Rs, worm, and tape drives. The disk parameters are disk type, access method, speed, reliability, redundancy, format, and capacity. So, types of disks. There's hard drive disks, there's CD-ROM disks, there's DV disks, there's magneto-optical disks. Anything that's a round disk is a disk type, and PARCA will test you on all the different types of disks there are. The access method can be through an input-output channel. This is for internal devices and software. The other access method is a network I/O input-output, which is for external devices, software, and apps. Speed is simply the speed at which the disk rotates. How fast the disk rotates corresponds to how fast it can read and write. A typical hard drive can spin at 7,200 RPM, which yields a read-write speed of 80 to 160 megabytes per second. Reliability, how long that disk will last. So the average mean time to failure for a disk is 1 to 1.5 million hours of use. Redundancy is basically having a backup disk. So most hard disk drives have two platters. So writing the same data to both disks creates a backup if one disk fails. There are three primary types of formatting for these disks. They are NTFS, HFS+, and FAT32. And they all have different intentions. So NTFS is for Windows, only works with Windows. HFS Plus is for a Mac OS or an Apple system. And FAT32 works with both types of operating systems. Capacity, that's how much the drive can hold. It's also called disk space, and it's measured in bytes. As an example, a DVD can hold 4.7 gigabytes of data. Then there's all the RAID levels. RAID stands for Redundant Array of Independent Disks. And RAID can be configured in different levels from 0 to 5. So that is literally what it says. It's an array, a whole bunch of disks in a row in a machine that's just a redundant array of independent disks, and you store data on it. And I'm not going to read you all the different types of RAIDs. You can read them here on the slide, but each one has different features. So some provide mirroring, so you write disk A and it's copied to disk B. Some write data across multiple disks, so part of the file gets written to A, part gets written to B, part gets written to C, another part gets written to D. So if you stripe it or put it across a whole bunch of disks, then it's stored in a whole bunch of different locations. And that's actually faster than putting a whole thing on one disk. So those are the RAID levels. You just need to memorize what their features are. That's how PARCA will test you. HSM stands for Hierarchical Storage Management, or Tiered Storage. It's a data storage and data management technique that automatically moves data between high-cost and low-cost storage media. HSM systems exist because high-speed storage devices such as solid-state drive arrays are more expensive per byte stored than slower devices such as hard disk drives, optical disks, and magnetic tape drives. So basically, you want to put your long-term storage on the slower devices, things you're not going to need very often. So studies that are 2-3 years old, you put those on slower, older technology because it's cheaper. And then the fast, high-speed storage you keep for stuff you did last week. And so those are the tiers, and the data moves up and down those tiers within the archive. Disk platters. A hard disk drive platter or disk is the circular disk on which magnetic data is stored on a hard disk drive. So you can look at the pictures and see that most of them have two, and they back each other up. CD-ROM, DVD, and DVD-R. CD-ROM stands for Compact Disc Read-Only Memory. DVD is a digital video disc. DVD-R notes that this type of disk is recordable. So if it has the /R, you can record things on it. A CD can hold about 600 megabytes of data. A DVD can hold about 4.7 gigabytes of data. And a DVD-R disc can only be recorded one time. So you can record something on it, but once it's recorded, it's done. You can't do anything with it again, which is where WORM comes in. WORM stands for Write Once, Read Many. Write Once, Read Many describes a data storage device in which information once written cannot be modified like the DVD-R. So this write protection affords assurance the data can't be messed with. So once you burn that DVD, it will always have that study on it. It's not going to go away. They can't be written over. And finally, you have the zip disk or the floppy disk, the diskette. So over here you have tape drives. So these little things that you will never see in your lifetime it's tape disks, and they go in a tape drive. So that's section 1.3. Thank you for watching.